What's up, everybody? How you guys doing today? As of this moment, I'm recording this at exactly 12 p.m. September 15th. What is it, Wednesday? Yes, it's Wednesday. I fibbed a little bit yesterday when I said I was going to try to do another show. I wanted to do 2 shows, and then I just didn't. Didn't feel like it. But I'm doing this one now. It's okay. And we got a few things to talk about. So, let's not waste any more time. Welcome to Brad's Bad Show About Games. My name is Brad, and I am not an idiot. Or maybe I am. I probably am. But we'll get to that a little bit later to find out who the idiot is. But let's start off with the only bit of Fortnite stuff that I have to really talk about. I decided to save this for this show instead of the review from the last episode. Apple versus Epic is over, and the winner is Apple in 9 out of 10 cases. So, basically, courts ruled that Epic violated their agreement with Apple, so Apple does not have to let Epic back onto the App Store. But Epic did get one thing, and the courts ruled that Apple cannot forbid developers from linking out to alternate pay methods. So that is one of the things that Epic wanted, but it seems like ultimately this is going to go more in Apple's favor. It might help some smaller devs if they want to link out to other stuff, if they already have a previous agreement with Apple. Apple, I guess, could always just... Well, I guess they really can't. If the court rules that they cannot forbid a company from doing this, then I guess Apple could just always make it a term in their contract of like, hey, you cannot do this anymore. Like, we could put it in our contract that you won't link out to this, but for existing devs, if they decide to do this, then Apple cannot retaliate. So I guess that's one good thing. But I really didn't think much about this after, the big things. Like, the biggest takeaways from this whole thing for me was the collabs that got leaked. I guess when you really look at it, I can't remember exactly how I said. I can't remember exactly what my take was on this other than it's just 2 companies arguing over money, so, it doesn't really matter. I know a lot of people were hoping that there was a way they both could lose. I mean, in a way they did, and in a way Apple mostly got, Apple is not being forced to restore Epic's account or developer account, and they're not forced to put Fortnite back in the App Store. That said, Epic has already started complying with Apple's terms that they've apparently laid out for how Epic can get back on the store. I think they've already paid the fine for breaking their contract, and they've already removed their alternate payment method. That was part of the terms that Apple had said, hey, if you want back on the store, unlink your alternate pay thing. So, I guess they're trying to mend that bridge. And I said this on Twitter too, like, if Fortnite's too profitable for Epic to not want it on mobile, and for Apple to say, no, we don't need you, thanks, go away. It's too much money to be made there for both of these companies to just say, you know what, we're good. We'll take less money. That's never going to be an option for these kinds of, these massive companies like this. To accept less money, no. I think they would rather go out of business than take less money. But, yeah, I think if you had a company, like, if you gave a company an option of, would you rather make a little bit less, or would you rather just fold and start over from scratch? I think some of them would actually rather just fold completely and then just start over, if they thought they could make more money out of doing that. So, anyway, at this point, it's not a matter of if Fortnite gets back in the App Store. It's a matter of when. And again, like, I think that hopefully this will benefit the smaller devs that don't have the resources and the money that Epic does. Epic can more than afford. I'm pretty sure they can more than afford. I think they paid, what was it? The violation was $6 million to for breaking contract. I brought this up a few times recently. Sony recently invested $200 million in Epic. So they can pay $6 million. That's probably pocket change to them, which sounds insane, but that's the reality. But anyway, at the very least, mobile gamers, if you're looking forward to, if you liked Fortnite on your phone, then things are looking up for you. You'll be able to play again soon, hopefully. It looks like things are headed in that direction. This kind of happened out of the blue. Talking about a game, going from one game to another. A game that seems to have no end. It is the game with DLC that never ends. It just goes on and on, my friends. I'm talking about Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 and the fact that they're adding Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla as a playable character. Now they're doing this backwards, man. Like Super Saiyan Kefla was already in the game. She's been in there for a while. And now they're taking the unfused forms, the unfused characters, and putting them in. And Caulifla will be the first. Now, I am a little bit first off, she does look cool. I always liked Caulifla when they added her. I liked her and Kale. I liked their dynamic of Caulifla being like... I always interpreted Caulifla as being Universe 6's version of Goku because she likes to fight. She's a scrapper. She is very much like Goku in that regard, sort of like how Kaba is like Vegeta, only they're not exactly the same. They're similar, but not quite the same. Just like Frost and Frieza are sort of the same, but not quite. So I think that Caulifla being in is cool. I wish they had given her base form and Super Saiyan, because they did that with Gogeta. Gogeta's getting his base form and Super Saiyan form, even though his blue form was already in the game. I wish they would make it to where you could transform in all her forms. I get that she really doesn't fight a lot in base or Super Saiyan form in the show. She mostly takes Super Saiyan 2. Like, moments after figuring out Super Saiyan, she accidentally went to Super Saiyan 2. And then Goku had to basically reteach her how to get back to that form in the tournament, where she even took the whole Super Saiyan grade 3 or whatever it was, the huge bulk form that Trunks tried to use to beat Cell, and Cell was like, no, you're too slow. You may be incredibly powerful, but your muscles weigh you down. So Caulifla tried that in the show, and Goku was like, nope, you're too slow. Because even Goku took that form, if you remember, in his training at the same time. The same time they were showing Trunks beating up Cell, they showed Goku take that same form, but he was telling Gohan's like, no, this form has a major weakness. And at the exact same time that Goku was explaining to Gohan the weakness of the form, Cell was explaining the form's weakness to Trunks back at him. And Cell even was like, I could take that form too. It's like, so even though you have all this power, I could just power up and then we would be the same speed, but then I would still be stronger than you. So he basically embarrassed Trunks. But I'm fine with this. I'm super curious though, like how many more characters are going to be added to this game? Like the only negative I have of this is that this is all paid DLC, but if that, I guess it's working. They're adding more characters. There's enough of a player base still dedicated to Xenoverse 2 that they feel it's worth putting more characters in and charging for them. People are buying it. And I'm fine with this, by the way. Perfectly fine with them just to instead of doing a Xenoverse 3, which I think the reason why we haven't seen Xenoverse 3 is because they don't really have any other ideas or enough like new ideas to justify making an entirely new game instead of just updating the one that they already have. So, sort of like the Among Us team decided to scrap their planned sequel and just put and work all of their ideas they had for that into the base game, this is fine. I'm totally fine with that. Like I said, wish she had base and Super Saiyan, but it's more characters. I'm fine with this. I think obviously next Kale is going to be in, but I don't know how they'll handle Kale because like her forms are very different. Like her base form, she's real scrawny. She doesn't really spend, any time fighting in that form. She also has the giant berserker form, which I thought was her strongest form. But then when she learned to control the berserker form, like she has base, she has Super Saiyan, she has berserker, and then she has controlled berserker. But like berserker seemed to be like her strongest form because she took Goku Super Saiyan Blue Kamehameha to the face and was unfazed by it. Took no damage from that. But she was fighting on even ground and controlled Berserker against Super Saiyan God Goku. She looked to be pretty much even with him in strength in that form. But Tien and Krillin in the sidelines had said that her power jumped when she learned to control her Berserker form. So that doesn't make any sense. If Berserker was stronger than Blue, and this controlled Berserker is stronger than her regular Berserker, why was she seemingly on par with Super Saiyan God Goku, which is a form below? Doesn't make sense. But again, I figured that the Berserker Kale will probably get in, maybe control Berserker, because that's supposed to be like her top form, I guess. I don't know. But Kale probably will be one of the next characters added, though. If they're putting Caulifla in, Kale's got to come next. But I'm trying to figure out what they really need to do, though? Like, it's cool that they're going back and showing some love for these characters from the anime. They need to start jumping into the manga. Give us some characters from the Galactic Prisoner arc. Give us, like, Mirus, the Angel. Give us Moro, one of his forms. Like, we've already moved past that whole arc. There's been nothing about that. Or Granola. Like, you'd have to completely skip over Moro to get to Granola, but there were some interesting characters added here. Put them into the game. We've already got GT characters in there. I suppose you may as well just go all the way and start adding some of the characters from Super Dragon Ball Heroes. Android 21 made it in. Her transformed state did not make it in yet. That was a weird decision. Her base form is in the game, but she cannot transform, at least not from what I've seen. So that was a unique crossover from Fighters. So start taking some more inspiration from other Dragon Ball properties. So go into the manga. But otherwise, I'm just glad that the game's still getting some support. I wish I could get all the DLC I'm missing. I'm missing a good bit of the DLC, to be honest. Speaking of more DLC for fighting games, we've got Season 4 announced for Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. Coming, and who will be added will be Adam Park from Mighty Morphin. Is his Ninjetti, I think it's called. I think that's what they call those transformations. Poisandra, I have no idea who that is. I did not watch that season. I was out of Power Rangers, I think. I stuck with Power Rangers until Power Rangers in Space, and then I got out. Like, nothing against it. I think I just aged out of the fandom at that point and moved on to other things. I think that was around the time I moved into Dragon Ball. Like, but then also Rita Repulsa is actually going to be playable. She was a big part of the storyline from the game, and it's cool that she's actually going to be playable. She's going to have a wild moveset. That staff, is her super going to be summoning a random monster to make grow and then they stomp on them? Like, that would be an interesting idea. Like how Zed calls in the putties to beat up his opponent. That's cool. Now, the interesting thing about Adam being in this is I think people were listening to it, and it seems like the voiceover actor for Adam is going to be Johnny Young Bosch. That's what people were saying. It sounds like him. he was Adam Park from the original series, so it kind of makes sense that to have him come back as a video game character and to have a guy who is now mostly, I think, known outside of Power Rangers, but for voiceover, to come in and play himself. So he'd be playing a video game character that he has also portrayed in real life. So he'd be voice acting for a character that he played the live action version of in its original, in his original presentation. So that's a really cool sort of twist there. Sort of like how it's sort of similar in a way to how, like for Tidbit, the Fairly Odd Parents, the voice actor for Timmy's dad, Darren Norris, they originally in the series they did not show the mom and dad's faces, but when the series, as the series went on, Timmy's mom and dad were just there, and they based Timmy's dad off of Darren Norris's physical appearance. So it's sort of like that, but not quite the same. But it is kind of cool that if it is Johnny Bosch playing Adam Park in this game, that it's kind of come full circle for him to, this, I think, because Power Rangers was his big break, I believe. And for him to, have this big career as a voice actor, to now he gets to reprise a live action role in a video game, it's a nice full circle moment for him. But yeah, I'm excited about this. I got to be careful though. Like the last time I talked about this game, I talked about how weird the upgrade system is and how I didn't get all the Ryu and Chun-Li outfits that I thought I was going to get when I bought the upgrade system. So it turns out you have to buy the upgrade system to get certain things, but then you also have to buy the separate Street Fighter pack to get all of the Street Fighter cosmetics instead of just 2 of them. And it's a really weird setup. I didn't like that, but now that I do actually have all of I'm upgraded to the most recent version of the game. I'll have to upgrade it again to get these, but, at least I understand it a little bit better now. But Dragon Ball Xenoverse and Power Rangers were not the only fighting games to have some reveals. Ren and Stimpy officially revealed for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Now, these guys got leaked. Not really leaked, but when they put out the original cover art for the game, where all the characters on the cover were blacked out with just silhouettes, it was obvious that Ren and Stimpy were on the cover. You could clearly make them out, so this is not a surprise. The surprise is that they're one character. They're not 2 separate characters. They function as one. So people comparing them to, say, Banjo-Kazooie or the Duck Hunt dog and his duck companion from Smash Brothers. That's what this is going to be. Ren, you control Stimpy. Ren is hanging off of his back, and one of the moves is Stimpy takes Ren and swings him like a bat. That's literally something that Banjo does with Kazooie in Smash. So, but there's also some pretty cool references and stuff. But the thing that's interesting about this is that with Ren and Stimpy being one character and not 2, that frees up an unknown spot because we already know that Aang and Korra from the Avatar and series are going to be playable characters in this. That leaves us with 3 that we don't know. There's supposed to be 22 characters in this roster based on the way they revealed things. Now, there were some supposed leaks going around last night that said that there's actually less than 22 characters, even though the official trailers are advertising 22 characters, 22 spots on the roster. So that's weird. I'm not going to talk about the leaks as far as what they leaked because I don't think they're credible. Just because all the official stuff is saying there's 22 fighters in the game. The leaks are saying, no, there's only 20. Or there's only 21. And I'm like, nah, I don't think the game's only about a month or so away. A little bit, maybe over a month away. I think it comes out next month. There's not going to be... they can't be advertising 22 characters in their big trailers and stuff and then cut it short and say, oops, sorry, we got the number wrong. they can't do that. That would look terrible. So I don't think that it's going to be. I don't think that those leaks are really accurate. Some of them or parts of them might be, but I'm not going to talk about what it is. But anyway, as it stands, that would leave us. We had 5 characters left. Out of the 8 that they had not revealed yet, we got Cat Dog, we got April O'Neil. Now we've got Ren and Stimpy as one character. That leaves 5. So we know Aang and Korra from the box art, they're in for sure. That's 3 more that we don't know. And I can't remember who I predicted was going to be in, but I feel like it's got to be Timmy Turner, maybe Jimmy Neutron, and maybe Jenny Wakeman, Jenny XJ9. That seems like the ones that seem the most appropriate. Like, I would be surprised if Timmy Turner doesn't make it. The Fairly Odd Parents is one of the most long-running shows that they've had. If Danny Phantom's in, Timmy's got to be in. Or Jorgen. You know, somebody from the Fairly Odd Parents has got to be in this game. But anyway, at least this now gives us one more character than we thought we had, because we thought Ren and Stimpy were going to take up 2 spots. They don't. So that's good. Still hoping for DLC. Gotta have DLC, man. We gotta have some DLC. Like, please take a note from Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Keep making DLC, and people will keep playing your game. Please. Just listen to, pay attention to what the fans want. You know, this could be a big game. People are legitimately excited about this, and it has massive hype levels. I understand it's a low budget game, but there's a potential here to make a ton of money, and maybe try to make some deals to get some more characters in. That's all I'm saying. But last thing I'm going to talk about, because I was going to talk about something else, but I think I'm going to save this for an entirely different topic or a different show, is a clip that was going around on Twitter from Life is Strange. I think, what is it called? Life is Strange Colors or something like that, of a streamer who was playing the game in what they call DMCA friendly mode, which I guess it just lets you turn the music completely off. And it showed them reacting to this scene in the game where, I guess, I don't know how spoilery it is, but the character here is seen in a scene where this guy is trying to encourage her to basically air guitar or play the broom guitar, where they're just goofing around to a song that's playing on the radio or something that they hear that they like, and they're just imitating the musicians playing the instruments. You know, goofy thing, but people do this. It's just, people goofing off. But the problem is that because of DMCA things, the streamers can't play the song, so they have to take the option to mute the song, and as a result, this cutscene with no music, and I think they say there was a Kings of Leon song that plays during the scene. Literally, the only thing that's muted in this scene is the music. So you get the sound effects, you get the dialogue between the characters, and it's so weird because for an extended period of time, the only thing you hear in the scene, because the music is turned off so that streamers don't get copyright flagged, is footsteps. Maybe a character will give an occasional sigh or giggle or something, but it's mostly just the sound of the character's feet moving as they pretend to play musical instruments. And it's very bad. And I hate that because I was interested in this game. Now, if I upload it to YouTube and the Kings of Leon want to claim, hey, that's our song that's in this game you're playing, and you want to siphon some money off of my video, then go right ahead if I ever do play this game for my channel. But The fact that people can have their channels deleted, and it just sounds so ridiculous. Like, that's the one thing I will give YouTube credit for, is that its automatic copyright flag system is, if you deliberately use, because I've used some songs and stuff, like if it detects a song that is copyrighted or that somebody owns the rights to, then YouTube will automatically divert money you could make off of your video to that artist. And I think that's fair in certain circumstances. Like, if I use a song in one of my Fortnite videos or whatever, then that's fine. Then you can do that. But these big games that are licensing music like this, and they clearly have a budget where they could afford to either pay somebody to write a song for their game, or just pay for the rights to royalty-free music. Because you could pay some of these artists that literally make music for the specific reasons. Like, hey, this is copyright free. You know, some of this music is just completely free to use. All you got to do is credit the person who made it. You can make money off of it. Put it in your project. As long as you give the artist credit, they're pretty much okay with it. But every of course musician and songwriter has their own rules for how they handle that kind of thing. But streamers should not have to do this in the modern gaming era, where streaming video games has become a huge part of the industry. Like, streamers are now, like, these game developers will send free copies of games to whatever streamer they think has an audience that will appeal to their game for free, specifically for them to play it ahead of time. Like, streaming is now a core part of gaming. And the fact that the gaming industry has yet to move away from these licensed music things, and I get it, that, like, it's copyright law and all this stuff, and it's the record labels are as tight-fisted as ever about music. Like, it's just like if you're on Twitter and you're filming yourself in a club or at a bar somewhere, or at any kind of party where somebody may be playing music, then, like, the record label could hear, like, if you're walking down the street, no music's playing, but you walk by a store and then you hear whoever, Taylor Swift's or Miley Cyrus's or Lil Nas X's latest song, just whoever the top musician is at the time, or it may not even have to be a popular musician. If the audio of that song, if the sound of that song gets caught in your little brief cell phone video, then the record labels will have your Twitter account closed. Like, that is insane. And it helps you to understand, like, why people like Taylor Swift have to go up against the record labels who own the rights to their song. Because, like, remember, not that long ago, it was Taylor Swift announced that she wanted to put all of her biggest hits on a single collection, but the people that she worked with to produce those early albums told her, no, we own those songs. If you want to release these songs again, you'll have to record new versions of all these old songs. And it's a really dumb thing that, like, to think that an artist who wrote these songs, I do think, like, she does write her own music. Like, it's a little bit different, I think, when like if you write your own songs, you should own the rights to those songs. You should be able to do with those songs what you want if you wrote it. And I understand that, though, that's sort of like just business in general is controlling. So it sucks. But again, I'm kind of got off on a different tangent, but ultimately the game industry has got to get away from these licensed music or licensed songs. Get away from it. It surely couldn't cost more to pay an indie songwriter to write you a song for their game that would fit the mood of the game that you're trying to, like, if you just need a feel-good song that will work, like, because then if the game studio owns the rights to the song, You could put that on like iTunes or somewhere and sell it. Upload it to YouTube, and every time somebody plays it, you get money. You get revenue from plays and from likes or whatever it is. There you go. That way streamers don't have to like mute the music that you paid to put in the game. Think about how ridiculous it was when Metallica played for whatever show it was supposed to be. I can't remember what it was now, but they had to mute Metallica's performance. You paid Metallica to play, but then out of fear of getting copyright stricken, you had to mute their performance. So you were just watching them play. You couldn't even hear what they were playing. Ridiculous. I think Weezer supposedly had like fixed this the next time they did something like that. I don't really trust that stuff either, to be honest, but who knows? I don't know. I just wish that if you're gonna put songs in your game, make sure you own the rights to it, or that it's royalty free or whatever, so that people who stream these games don't either run the risk of having their channel shut down just because a record label got offended that, oh, somebody's playing a video game, they may be making money off of a game off of a game that happens to have a few moments of a song that we own the rights to. Like, it's just greed. But please, game devs, pay people to write music for you. But anyway, that's going to be it. Again, not really much to talk about. I had another topic I was going to talk about on the topic of games that don't exist, and pitching some games or some game ideas that I had out there that I talked about with somebody on Twitter. And it was an idea for a new fighting game based on an ongoing series. But it would be taking that sort of idea and going in a different direction with it. And I think it would be way more popular. But anyway, I'll save that for another show. Maybe I'll do an entire show on games that should exist, or just throwing out some game ideas that I have. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked it. Like and subscribe. Check out all my other stuff, and we'll see you next time. Later.